and welcome to VMZ Frequency. You've definitely heard people saying it, right? That we are living in the end times, that the advent of a savior is near. It's a feeling that's sweeping the globe. Across so many different religions and cultures, people are looking at the world, at ancient prophecies, and seeing the signs unfold, one by one.
This idea that we're getting closer and closer to some final, pivotal moment, it's a powerful one. And a lot of people see the massive changes happening as proof. So this brings us to an incredible analysis from Vahid Zakavati, who decided to put this feeling to the test. Using a combination of astrology and artificial intelligence, he set out to find the exact dates that hold the most potential for this kind of world-changing event. I mean, it's a pretty fascinating question, isn't it? If something this huge were about to happen, you'd expect to see some kind of signs in the cosmos, in the celestial patterns. Well, the result is this incredible 50-year forecast, a celestial roadmap to our future. So stick with me because we are going to walk through these dates one by one, and what they suggest is that maybe, just maybe, all those people who are waiting, they might be right. All right, let's dive in. So here's the journey we're about to take, broken down into these different eras. We're going to start with a pretty intense period of collapse and false saviors, then move into a collective awakening and the arrival of a true savior. After that, we'll see a scientific and spiritual rebirth, face one final cosmic test, and then we'll wrap it all up with what this entire map means for you, right here, right now. First up, this forecast doesn't ease us in gently. Nope, it kicks off with a really turbulent, chaotic phase starting in 2026. This whole period is described as a time of massive shocks to our global systems, defined by some serious trials, and, maybe even more importantly, some serious deception. Let's really break this era down. It all starts in 2026 with the rise of what's called a warrior savior, someone who promises awakening through conflict. Then, by 2029, we see this profound crisis of belief, which creates a vacuum, one that gets filled by technological deception. And then, by 2033, the actual foundations of our financial and legal worlds are predicted to face a total and radical reset. Okay, so let's get specific. The model flags 2026 as incredibly intense. Why? Well, astrologically, Neptune enters the fiery sign of Aries for the first time in 165 years. This alignment is said to trigger a kind of awakening through shock and reawakens this myth of a warrior savior in our collective subconscious. The model actually puts a 65% probability on the rise of a super charismatic but polarizing figure who promises salvation by, well, burning the old world to the ground. Now, what happens next is really interesting. In 2029, a very rare Saturn-Neptune conjunction happens. So think of it like this. Saturn is all about cold, hard reality, and Neptune is the planet of dreams, faith, and illusion. According to the source, when these two collide, it creates a collapse of meaning. The beliefs that held society together just crumble. This leaves this huge spiritual vacuum, and with a 70% probability, the forecast predicts that deceptive cults and virtual saviors will step right into that void, using technology not to free us, but to control us. By 2033, the forecast suggests that the global population will be so fed up with corruption that they'll demand the old systems of power be completely dismantled. This great reset of banking and law is given a 75% probability of happening. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. The proposed solution carries its own massive danger. The analysis warns of a rigid, highly monitored technological dictatorship called justice rising up in the name of fairness. It might get rid of corruption, sure, but the potential cost could be our personal freedom. Okay, so after all that fire and deception, the forecast makes a major pivot. The story shifts from deconstruction and chaos to a period of deep hope and real, genuine transformation. This is what leads to the potential arrival of a very, very different kind of savior. According to the model, the entire dynamic of power is set to flip on its head in 2039, with something the source calls the Barefoot Uprising. Now, this isn't a violent revolution. It's a revolution in consciousness. Billions of people are said to realize, almost all at once, that their real enemy isn't each other, but the divisive systems that have been controlling them. This sparks these spontaneous networks of global cooperation, and power starts to shift from the very top of the pyramid right down to its base. And this newfound global unity is what sets the stage for the main event. In 2043, the forecast identifies an 80% probability for the emergence of what it calls the true, mature savior. This isn't a warrior, this isn't some digital illusion. This is described as a person, or maybe even a collective consciousness, that arrives with irrefutable proof uniting logic, spirituality, and executive power in a way humanity has literally never seen before. And this table just lays it out so clearly. You see the contrast. The 2026 warrior operates through anger and shock. The 2029 virtual savior thrives on illusion and control. But the 2043 mature archetype, it's on a completely different frequency. It operates on the logic of love and executive justice. Its goal isn't to divide or control. It's to heal, to unify, and to implement a world that is truly just.
So with this new foundation of unity in place, humanity is apparently ready for its next giant leap forward. The forecast describes a golden age of science and understanding, a true rebirth of civilization. Let's see how this unfolds.
The year 2049 is pinpointed as a scientific coup. I mean, look at this list. Concepts that were once purely spiritual are suddenly explained by quantum physics. The nature of the soul, the existence of parallel dimensions, all of it becomes scientifically understood. This new knowledge is predicted to eradicate incurable diseases, halt the aging process, and, this is huge, allow all world religions to finally find a common, unified truth, ending centuries of conflict. This newfound harmony leads to something pretty extraordinary. By 2056, the analysis projects that the whole concept of heaven on earth becomes a tangible reality. With humanity working as one, things like national borders become obsolete. Global resources are managed with such wisdom that poverty is completely eliminated, becoming just a forgotten relic of a dark past. And the evolution just keeps going. By 2062, humanity is said to enter an age of direct intuition. An inner, divine awareness awakens in everyone. We no longer need to look to external sources to understand truth. Things like telepathy, which we once thought of as myths, become just normal, everyday skills, because each person becomes their own source of guidance. So after reaching this incredible state of being, you'd think the journey is over, right? But the forecast points to one final act, a last test to really solidify this new consciousness and secure humanity's legacy for good. You can almost think of it as humanity's final exam. This final ascension is described in 3 steps. First, there's a loyalty test in 2069, which is like a final psychic pressure to purge any lingering traces of ego. Then, by 2074, we reach a new 0 point, where the Earth's entire frequency is cleansed and aligned with pure light. And finally, in 2075, humanity's earthly mission is complete. We inherit our world, fully and truly, ready to expand our purpose out into the cosmos. Wow, that was a wild 50-year journey. But let's bring it back to today. What's the point of seeing a map of the future if we don't know how to use it right now, from where we're standing? So the most important part is, what are the takeaways for us today? Here's the core advice distilled from the source material. First, and this is the big one, no savior exists outside of your own awakened will. The ultimate power is inside you. Before the chaos predicted for 2026, it's absolutely vital to strengthen your own individual independence. When the shocks do come, the advice is to avoid getting swept up in mass hysteria. Focus on building your inner resilience, and always, always remember the core message of this forecast. Every crisis is not an end. It's the seed for a more conscious and peaceful future. So there you have it, a potential map of the future, a timeline of crisis, rebirth, and ascension. The source ends by saying that anyone who hears this information is no longer just a passive bystander. You are now a watchman, someone who knows what might be coming and can choose to navigate it with awareness. The only question left is, what are you going to do with the map?